Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to Wednesday's English lesson. It's great to have you all back. Great to see you all, and it's been really great to see all the work that you've been sending in. I'm glad to see you all working really hard. So well done, everybody. Right, as usual, outside of the English lesson, we're going to get ourselves started and warmed up and ready to go with just a minute or so of activity. So stand up, get ready for some action. Okay, let's start by just marching on the spot. Do that for a few times. Okay, now march on the spot, turn around the circle. Jumping right round. Okay, then get those arms out. Nice big swirls that keep stamping with those feet. And go backwards with those arms. Okay, can you start jogging on the spot? Okay, and as you're jogging, reach up, reach up, reach up. Okay, get yourselves going. Right, well done everybody. Now standing still, can you touch your left hand to your right foot and then swap? You come up and down, up and down, up and down. Well done. And then put your hands on your hips and give those hips a big swivel. And then go back the other way. Okay, and just finish off, we're going to do some squats. Then you can see, go back a bit further. Okay, so you're going to bend right down and come up. Right down and come up. As you go down, your hands to the front and then out. Hands to the front and then out. Hands to the front and then out. And then finish off, quick jog, and then 2 feet together and jump. Swinging those arms, and we are ready to do our work. Well done. Grab yourselves a seat, everybody. Okay, so we've got a new Walt today to create an opening to a narrative. And what we're going to be doing basically is writing our setting description. Okay, so if you could just pause the video again and write today's date and Walt. And remembering again, we need to make sure we're underlining, always underlining. There are some of you when you're in the classroom, you always forget. So keep remembering, and beautiful joined up handwriting. So Wednesday, 13th of January, to create an opening to a narrative. So pause the video until you are ready. Okay. Remember as well, if you can spot Monty somewhere, he is hiding again today. He's not particularly good at hiding, but he is here somewhere, so see if you can spot him. Okay, so we are thinking about the video clip that we've watched on Monday, the Maladile, the marshmallow clip. And if you want to remind yourself, you can always go back and watch that. The link was on the PowerPoint from Monday. And the link is also on the overview for this week. But here we've got a few pictures of a campfire, some trees and a lake, similar to the story of the Maladile, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing a description of that setting. Okay, so I want you to have a look at those pictures, and I want you to write down in your books, so it's just like a thought shower, some words and phrases to describe what you would see and what you would hear if you were actually at that place. Okay. And whilst you're doing that, I will play this little link as well. That will be some sound effects, if it works. Just listen to these. Not that bit. These might be some of the things you might be hearing whilst at the setting. Crackling fire, the crickets chirping. That's the crickets chirping there, quite a loud noise. An owl. There wasn't really anyone talking, but those might be some of the things. Like a wolf howling. Okay, so just some ideas of some things you might hear. If you want to listen to that for a bit longer, you can. So just jot down all your ideas. If you think the Maladile comes out of the lake, pops his head up out of the lake, and then what does he see? So having a think about the story as well. We'll come back to our words and phrases in a minute. If you need to pause the video, you can. But these are the things that happen in the story, okay? So these are some of the things that happen. So he pops his head out of the lake, but I want you to think about the order that they actually happen, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the start of the clip again. And as you're watching it this time, you can try and see if you can actually write down some of the things from the setting. Okay. Okay, so just watch the start, see what we see first in this clip. The lake. You can see the trees. Okay, that's all I want you to look at really, because what we are thinking about is the setting. Where is this story set? And that's the bit that we're trying to describe. Okay, so if you look, we've got the lake, you've got the mountains in the background and the trees in front of it. You've got the little boy that is toasting his marshmallow round the campfire. Because we're doing a setting description, we're not really going to be talking much about the characters, other than the fact you might want to say that, you know, something popped its head out of the water and it could see the boy toasting his marshmallows. You've got the campfire with all the crackling fire you could talk about, and the log that the boy is sitting on, and that he's in a clearing in a forest. Okay, so those are all the things about the setting that you want to talk about. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is to spend a few moments writing down as many descriptive words, maybe some sentences about the setting. We did this the other day. We started to do it so you could use some of your ideas from the other day as well. So pause the videos, write down a few more ideas. Right, once you've done that, we're going to have a look now at an example of a setting opening, a really good example. And as we always say when we're doing writing, if you want to steal some ideas, that's absolutely fine. Stealing ideas is fine. Copying is not. It's fine to take out maybe one of the words that you like or a fronted adverbial that you like, but obviously we're not just going to copy the whole piece of writing. So what I tend to suggest, and what I'd like you to do, is if we'll read it through, you can maybe jot down some ideas that you like, but then maybe don't look at this again. Otherwise you'll end up, without meaning to, writing the same that's there. And we want to try and write our own version of it. So let's have a look. It was a clear, warm night. Okay, so it's quite a nice start. And you've got your two adjectives with a comma between them. Crickets chirped in the distance, comma, and intermittently an owl hooted. That's a lovely word, intermittently. I wonder if anyone knows what that means. Intermittently means it doesn't happen all the time. It happens every so often, because an owl in the trees doesn't hoot all the way through. It doesn't just keep going tweet-woo, tweet-woo, tweet-woo. It pauses and then it does it again. So if you wanted to steal that word, intermittently, okay, it means it happens every so often. A solitary boat bobbed on the lake. A solitary boat means there's one boat all by itself. And from time to time, the water slapped against it. Moonlight hit the ripples on the lake, reflecting little sparks of light like diamonds on the water. So we've got a nice simile there, likening the sparks of light like diamonds. Far off in the distance, there's a fronted adverbial, behind the lake. That's an example of some extra information, which is why I've got a comma either side of it. Great mountains loomed. If they are looming, okay, they're in our sight just ahead of us. They looked like giant purple sleeping beasts. So another simile there to describe the mountains. Tall trees with thick trunks edged the water and birds roosted in their tangled branches. Okay, there should be, I'm sorry about the mistake here, there should be a comma after tall trees and after the word trunks, because that is our subordinate clause there. A short leaf littered pathway led to a camping area. In the middle of the camp, a fire crackled with red embers and ash rising upwards into the night sky. By the fire, a fallen log was used as a makeshift bench, and to the rear of the camp was a small canvas tent. So if you notice in that example, there's no mention of the Maladal, there's no mention of the little boy. It's just setting the scene of what there is. Saying it's nighttime, saying what you can hear, the crickets chirping and the owl hooting. There is a lake with a boat and there's moonlight. Then we can see in the distance some mountains, and we've got the trees, and then a little pathway, and in a clearing there is a camp, and there's a fire crackling and burning. Okay, and then you can say that there's a tent and a bench, a log used as a bench. So that is an example of a setting opening, and that's basically what I want you to have a go at doing today. And this piece of work is the piece of work for this week that we would like you to write with your best, most beautiful handwriting and send it back into us. A photo of it is great, and through the Badgers or Foxes email. Okay. Now, as a suggestion, we'd like you to start yours with this sentence up here, this sentence here. Night was creeping in, the water on the lake was barely moving, and the sky was a brilliant blue-violet colour. If you don't want to start yours like that, that's absolutely fine. But if you're struggling to get started, because sometimes that can be the hard bit, knowing where to go at the start, you can steal that as an idea. That's absolutely fine. Now, when you're doing your writing, you might want to keep this slide up because there's lots of vocabulary that you may want to use. Down here, we've got lots of lovely words that you might want to use in your sentences. And we've got some phrases: beyond the tree line, beneath the darkening sky, next to the fire, toward the forest, across the water, and so on. These are all examples of fronted adverbials, okay? Just make sure that each one starts with a capital letter. You can see that there is a mistake in those first two. They both need to be capitals, okay? Remember, whenever you've written a fronted adverbial, what piece of punctuation follows? That's right, a comma. Always, always put a comma after your fronted adverbial. Then try and use as much descriptive vocabulary as you can. If you find yourself keep wanting to use the word big, okay, or huge, try and think of a different word for it. If you're struggling to think, if you are very fortunate and have got a thesaurus at home, we've talked about these and use these in schools, you can search up the word big and find alternatives, okay? If you haven't got a thesaurus, then maybe if you've got access to the internet, you could always put in Google synonyms of big or different words for big, and it will give you some suggestions. I know that takes a bit longer, but actually it will make your writing that bit better if you search and try and find some better vocabulary, okay? So I've put think about using a thesaurus, use these prepositional phrases. These are our prepositional phrases, but if you put them at the start, they are our fronted adverbials. They don't need to be in every sentence, otherwise it gets a bit too much, okay? And use obviously some of your work, not from yesterday, but the day before, to include in your description. So I've written up on this slide just exactly what I want you to do, depending on your group. Africa, you are going to write sentences. You don't need to do a paragraph, just want some lovely descriptive sentences. For each sentence, choose one of the fronted adverbials on the previous slide. So choose one of these to start your sentences with, and choose one of the things that you would see in your setting. Asia, Europe, and the Americas, I want you to write a descriptive paragraph from the clip about the setting, remembering fronted adverbials, all the descriptive language. And if you are able to extend your sentences using conjunctions, please do. Remember, a conjunction is the little word that joins two sentences: and, but, because, so, when, meanwhile, therefore, and so on. So there's a lot to think about. You've got lots of ideas written down now from on Monday and from today. Try and put it into some sentences. And if you are struggling, I would suggest you keep this slide up in front of you because it gives you lots and lots of ideas. As I say, when you've completed this task, we'd really like you to take a photo of it and send it to us via the email, okay, so that we can have a look, and then we will get back to you about your writing. And remember, beautiful, neat, joined up handwriting. As I say, if we're seeing this coming in the next few weeks, you still can win your pen license, okay, and really try to think about all the time, have I put the best word in? Have I started my sentences with different words? And most importantly, capital letters, full stops, capital letters at the start, full stops at the end of every sentence. Okay, so that's what we'd like you to do. So just before we finish, I wonder if you spotted Monty. Okay, let me make this screen a little bit bigger. Let's see where he's hiding today. Okay, I hope that you spotted that our cheeky monkey Monty is up here. He's very small, but he's not actually managing to hide himself completely, is he? So we've got Monty again. And this is Wednesday, so hopefully tomorrow he'll put himself in a different place. Have a great day, everyone. Happy writing, and I can't wait to read some of your setting descriptions. See you all soon. Bye.